Good night. Today we are hosting a panel discussion featuring three of our best historians. First of all is Dr. Brandon Alfaro. Our second historian is Dr. Nicole Sabun. And our third historian is Dr. Brenda Lopez. My name is Jasmine Caballero, and I will be joining you as today's mediator. Our panel is about Iraq from 1980s to today. It will be divided in three parts, each one for each decade. To start off, it is important to mention that the 1980s Iraq-Iran War came as a result of the previous battle for control over the Shatt al-Arab River in the 1960s. In the late 1970s, Saddam Hussein attempted an Air Force attack in Iran. The actual Iran-Iraq war started on September 2nd, 1980, when Iraqi air forces attacked Iran, succeeding at destroying fuel and resource depots, but failing at destroying aircraft. Dr. Saboon, what can you tell us about this decade's conflict?
Well, it is important to know that Saddam Hussein was the one that started the Iran-Iraq war. He was against Ayatollah Khomeini, who was living in Iraq before he was thrown out. So when this war started and when Saddam Hussein attacked, he didn't want to give up as a revenge. It is important to know that when it started, Iraq was mostly the attacker and Iran couldn't actually do much. In 1983...
Okay, Nicole, what were the main reasons of this war? Okay. First, it was like the alliance between Saddam Hussein and the oil companies to get all the oil from the Shatt al-Arab River. So it was very important because of the oil and also of the division between Iraq and Iran.
Also, you have to take into consideration the present ideologies in that time. For example, before the Hussein's government, in Iraq there was a Shia government. And so after Hussein comes to power, he imposes the Sunni government, which was different from the government in Iran. And that was actually another cause for this conflict, to invade other territories and implement different ideologies.
Yeah, apart that the fact that Saddam Hussein actually didn't take the document that stated that there was an official border and only called it as a truce.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
actually difficult to attack. In 1984, the game of this war started to change. They started to use chemical weapons. The military goals changed and more countries were involved in it.
Nicole, also, do you know that Russia, at that time, was the USSR, was like the main helper of Iraq, giving Iraq all the weapons Iraq needed at that time to be like the winner of this war, of this conflict.
Yeah. Also, Iran had help from, kind of help from the United States.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two of the main superpowers.
Yeah.
Yes, superpowers was the very determinate of the result of this war.
Yeah.
If you see it this way, it was just like the Korean Wars, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Then there was the time that was called the War of Attrition, which was between 1984 and 1987. In this war, Iraq got like a lot of weapons involved. There were a lot of battles that were named, like the Battle of Cities, which was a bombing that killed a lot of people and stuff. And the Battle of Manjun, which was the Iraqi forces that attacked near the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, right? And there was also the Operation Dawn 13, which was when the 4th Squadron and the 5th Squadron got divided and attacked Iran. It is also important to mention that the Kurdish region wasn't helping Iraq, but was helping Iran in this conflict.
It was because the Sunni government of Saddam Hussein wasn't like mm, good or like okay with the Kurds and the Shias of the Sun. So
Yeah, we could say that the attack was also part because Saddam Hussein was afraid of the great balance between a lot of religions getting divided and starting a war inside of Iraq. There was also an oil capture that Iran made, and it actually hit Iraq's economy really badly. Um, in 1985, there was an increased targeting of population and industrial facilities from both sides. Yeah.
and so we can go to the end. That was a 598 resolution.
Yeah.
This UN resolution was like as a result, there was a new arms race between all the Arab countries. So yes, this arms race led all other wars in this zone.
Yeah.
Now, as Dr. Alfaro stated, the war ended in 1988 with the resolution 598. A ceasefire was signed and an arms race between all Arab nations bloomed. This can be taken as one of the smallest yet a very important cause for the war in the next decade, the Gulf War. This war started on August 2nd, 1990, with an Iraqi invasion to Kuwait and Saddam Hussein's aim to acquire its oil reserves. Dr. Alfaro, what can you tell us about this conflict?
So first, the talks that Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and Iraq have at that time were very determined of the creation of this war. So in these talks of Saddam Hussein and all the other representatives of these countries, they talked about the overproduction of oil of Kuwait, and this wasn't like unacceptable for Iraq because the prices were like going down, and this was the main economic like factor of Iraq. So,
Yeah, but you also have, well, we have to take in consideration the foreign U.S. opinion about this conflict. Actually, Iraq informed the U.S. about this future invasion to Kuwait, and the U.S. ambassador April Gaspy actually said that the U.S. does not have an opinion in this conflict. So we can infer that the U.S. actually didn't have any problem with the future violence problems between these two nations.
But we can also see that the United States actually tried to intervene in this problem, which they didn't have done before. Because when there was an assassination attempt in 1993 with Bush, he actually blamed people in Kuwait for this attempt on his life.
Yeah, but it was like after he was informed about this future conflict, he didn't do nothing. Is that really ethical? Or
Okay, so George Bush went like to Saudi Arabia because with the invasion of Iraq to Kuwait, it seemed like Iraq had the opportunity to attack Saudi Arabia, which is actually the main producer of oil in the world.
Yeah, you're also forgetting that in 1996 there was a coup d'etat, in which the CIA actually tried to put agents in Hussein's circle and tried to throw him out of the government, but Saddam Hussein had actual information about the other coup d'etats and knew how to take it out and
Yeah.
so it failed, and Iraq actually lost all contact with the United States and the UN.
Yeah, so with the help of the UN Security Council and US and some other countries, um, Iraq left Kuwait, and some peace terms were established where Iraq couldn't have more like weapons of mass destruction, and also Iraq have to declare Kuwait's sovereignty. So after this conflict in 1998, the Operation Desert Fox was a main like factor of U.S. attacking Iraq because they claimed that Iraq didn't cooperate with the UN inspections of the chemical weapons, so they used it as an excuse to attack this region. And also, yeah, it is important to know that this was only an excuse because we, as the nuclear energy agency said, um, the the country didn't have any chemical weapons, and so yeah, this is known as one of the U.S. excuses to attack other countries.
As Dr. Alfaro said, our second decade ends with 1998's Operation Desert Fox, which leads to our final decade that features George Bush stating Iraq as an uncontrollably dangerous global nation. What can Dr. Lucas tell us about this conflict?
Well, soon after the air bomb in 2001, Bush declared that Al-Qaeda, which is a terrorist organization, had a relationship with the Iraqi government. And he used this excuse to implement a new UN resolution, Resolution 1441, which stated that Iraq had to be rechecked on chemical weapons. And so the Iraqi government refused to accept this resolution, and then Bush attacked on Iraq in 2003. This is when the third Gulf War started, which lasted from 2003 until 2011. And so this same year, the US government captured Saddam Hussein, and he later was executed in 2006.
Yeah. Also, many other officers that participated in other events in Iraq, such as the Iraq-Iran War, had trials in this time, such as Yassin Ramadan, which was actually one of the main officers of Saddam Hussein and was before the Iran-Iraq War. He got a trial, and in 2005 he was sentenced for inhumane acts and was hung.
Exactly. This was actually the main reasons why the civil war in Iraq started. This is when some terrorist organizations emerged, such as ISI, which stands for Islam State in Iran, and then the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. This terrorist movement, their ideology was...
So the terrorist movements were mainly of the rebels of who didn't like the government of Saddam Hussein, or there was another reason of the creation of these organizations.
That's a very good question. No, in 2003, the United States government imposed a new government in Iraq, which was based on Shia ideologies. This is why the Sunni majority of Iraq was being suppressed, and that's why the civil war started. These rebels were not against Hussein. They followed his ideas because they were against the United States ideologies implemented in Iraq. And as I mentioned before, there are three main organizations: ISI, ISIS, and obviously Al-Qaeda.
But it is also said that many of these organizations were actually made by the United States.
Exactly, it's what we call like a big false flag. In order to make another excuse to in future times again attack these territories for oil.
Also, so these governments that the U.S. don't want in these Arab countries. So the mission of these organizations is to overthrow the government. So these are like orders of the United States to overthrow these governments and establish their own like political ideologies in all of those countries.
Yeah, they want to re-implement the Sunni.
The United States, well, they have always had something to help them intervene in these events, such as one of the prime ministers that defended Saddam Hussein, which actually got his life forgiven because he was the contact that helped the United States, inform them and help the wars being not so bad as they were.
Exactly. But as a curious fact, in 2004, the U.S. Commission stated that there was no evidence in the collaborative operational relationship between Al Qaeda and the Iraqi government or Batista government. And soon after,
So what were the main ideology of the Ba'athist regime?
the Ba'athist regime actually wanted to implement a communist party in Iraq. This, as we all know, is what the United States doesn't want. Right? So does it make sense? Yeah. And soon after, in 2010, actually, if we recapitulate some of the main ideologies or goals of the United States government into this conflict in Iraq was to stop violence in this territory. But in 2010, WikiLeaks published a document that stated that the United States forces ignored the widespread use of violence of the Iraqi military. Again, they're not respecting their initial goals involving in this war. Well, this conflict is still today. Although the U.S. got out of the conflict in 2010, supposedly, there's still a civil war occurring now in Iraq.
Now, having stated all of this, is there any extra comments you would like to make before closing?
Okay, so I can tell you one of the main characters of all of these conflicts. Al-Majid was the defense minister and also the governor of Kuwait at the Gulf War in 1990. He was known also as the Chemical Ali because he used chemical weapons against the Kurds, or also known as the rebels of the Sunni government. So there were like really important people helping to maintain the government of Saddam.
Yeah, and also like just a comment. Isn't it funny how like the first conflict had a UN resolution that prohibited Iraq on attacking Iran, and same as the second conflict that had a UN resolution that prohibited Iraq from attacking Kuwait. But in the final and third conflict that is nowadays, there is not actually a UN resolution that prohibits the United States on attacking Iraq. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Because all these places that the United States forbid Iraq from attacking were somehow attached to the United States, like products, and so interests. Yeah.
Well, this brings us to the end of our panel discussion. We would like to thank our three amazing historians.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.